This is the Live Well and Thrive podcast, hosted by Michael Torchia, health and wellness expert. It's time to shape up, America.
Hi, it's Mike Torchia, and welcome to Live Well and Thrive. I have a very special guest, my dear friend Rehan Jalali. He's an amazing certified fitness and nutrition expert. He has the six-pack diet plan. I mean, he has done so much. He's trained Ben Affleck, Sylvester Stallone, but he's just an overall great guy, and he believes in doing the right thing and not using gimmicks, just real sensible advice about nutrition and training. Rehan, thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Mike, for having me. I'm so happy to be on, finally.
Yeah, no, we've been talking about it for quite a long time, and I've watched what you've done. You've done the TED Talks. I mean, incredible appearances and all these other events. Every time I open up Facebook, Instagram, you're on a red carpet or something, so you're a man of the town, man.
Listen, pimping ain't easy. Somebody has to do it, though.
Hey, you got to blow your own horn, right?
Hey, why not? Listen, the PR, that's the city
and
of PR.
And you have the most colorful outfits. I love the. Where do you get your shirts?
Yeah, thank you. This is my sponsor, Barabbas, Barabbas Men.
Wow.
I should get you some stuff.
Yeah,
no,
man, you're always glowing. You're like a rock star. Every time I see you in a photo show, I'm like, damn. And nobody else has a shirt or an outfit like you. It's really cool to see.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. No, I want to, you got to stand out in L.A., so I got to do what I got to do. I'm losing muscle as you speak, so I don't have that, so I got to do something else.
Yeah, so, I reached out to you, and I said, I'd like to address something which I think is really important. How on social media, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or one of the other platforms, TikTok, there's a lot of these fitness people that claim to be celebrity trainers. But when you do your research, they've never once trained a celebrity. And I've actually approached a couple and I said, well, how can you say you're a celebrity? Well, I'm a celebrity on Instagram because I have 4 million followers. I go, well, but you're not a celebrity. That's not what that means. If it's like someone saying I'm a author. Well, if you wrote one book, you're a writer. When you have 3, 4, 5 books, then you're an author, right? Like you're successful in writing. You're a brilliant writer. And so you have to give a title that's really honest and sincere. So I feel then also we're going to talk about these apps that these fitness people are using, where I've seen a lot of these top social media celebrity trainers in the gym, and they have no abs at all, and there's no definement, but they just post a picture. Of course, they run it through an app to shorten up. And to me, that's misrepresentation. So I want to get your take on it.
I think that you're absolutely right, Mike. I mean, look, you're one of the OGs of the fitness game. You were first. I mean, you've been around forever. And what I love about you, Mike, is that you've been consistently doing it over time and have a proven track record. And that's very respectful. And I think that now what's happening is we live in a delusion world, I call it. It's a delusional world. Everything you see is filtered, is not real. It's enhanced. There's nothing real. We have AR, VR. Everything now is becoming almost an unrealistic, delusional world. And that also translates to the fitness world, where people think, hey, I'm a celebrity trainer because I've got followers. Or I trained a celebrity for, 2 weeks on one time 5 years ago, so now I'm a celebrity trainer. And so that word has been thrown around like all the time. And people really, it's actually disingenuous, because I think a lot of people buy into that and say, wow, this guy's credible. He is a celebrity trainer. And they buy their products. They get, all these things. And so I think this is extremely problematic. It hurts the consumer, actually. And it hurts people because it's you're selling something that's not real. Right, like you said, the fake abs. Right, you see a guy etching the abs and paint them up, and when you see him in real life, you're like, wait, is that the same person? I've literally met women, for example, from social media, and when I see them in person, I don't recognize them because I'm like, this is a different person. This is crazy. So I think we have a lot of delusion out there. And so for our job is to go to the real ones, like yourself. I've been doing it for 30 years. So people who have a consistent track record, who have a proven system that works in a multitude of people, and who've actually trained celebrities with real proof, not hype or, I knew a guy, and I won't say his name, who used to basically take some of our work and other people's work and put it as his own work. and put like the pictures that we posted, he put on his thing and act like he was part of it. And it was complete fraud, really. So you see this all the time, Mike, and you know that this can be really actually damaging to the consumer because, again, there's so much misinformation in this industry. I think we've been fighting it forever. And we see it now where I see so-called celebrity trainers put these gimmicks out where it's like one-legged Bosu ball, reverse twist, anchor press. And it's like, yeah, that's cool for Instagram, but is it good for your body? Right? People had good bodies in the 60s. They were doing, bench and squats. That's all they were doing. Yeah. So, look, what works, works. We know the basics work. And if you can implement it on a consistent basis, that's what will give you the most fitness success in the long run.
Well, you're so right about it because they took something that was very simple and made it complicated because they're trying to make it different.
That's it.
When I tell people, I learned this from Rodney Dangerfield when I was training him. He said, Michael, why I didn't fire you after the first workout, because he said, I fired 11 trainers. You were the 12th one, and I figured I'd fire you too. Because it's the way you deliver your instruction. It's like me. The joke is not what's funny. It's how I deliver the joke. And the way you delivered the workout, that very first workout, I'll never forget because he was messing with me. See, he lived on the Wilshire corridor and he had the whole penthouse floor. So he'd take the elevator up and this really sweet Spanish lady, her name was Conchita. She answered the door and she says, Mr. Rodney wants to meet you over here. And I said, okay. And I follow and he has his terry cloth, light blue robe with ketchup and mustard stains and hairy chest, and he had big boxers on, flip-flops, and he had a cigarette with a long ash. And I go, hi, Rodney. He goes, oh, come over here. What do you think of these jokes? And he starts running these jokes. And the way he stuttered and kind of said it, I was laughing my ass off. And then he goes, okay, I'm ready for a workout. That's our warm-up. So we go downstairs, and we go down to the lobby, walk across the lobby, and the gym, and it was a really cool gym. I was like, wow, this is going to be fun. And then he goes, I was going to grab a towel, and he goes, no. We're going out there to the pool. I go, pool? He goes, yeah, I have arthritis and I have some back problems. So my surgeon said I need to do exercise in the pool. So then he takes his robe off, and he jumps in the pool. He goes, let's go. So now I'm saying to myself, oh, shit, I don't want to be number 12.
What did I get myself into here?
So I jumped in the pool with all my clothes. I had Adidas jacket, nice shirt, Adidas sweats, white sneakers. I jumped in the pool right away, and I started giving him exercise doing the pool, kicking and all that, holding that. And we did it for about 20 minutes, because remember, he was heavy and not really and shit. And he goes, oh, man, I felt great. So when he came out of the pool, I had him sit at the edge of the pool, stretched him out a little bit. And then as we walked through the gym to go back to the room, when your sneakers are so soggy and it's squeaking, he started hysterically laughing, going, oh, my God. You are hired. You are so hired. You're my trainer. That was it. And so then he gave me one of his other robes because he had like a dozen terry cloth blue robes. So there I am sitting with the robe on, and he's running more jokes by me while Conchita puts my clothes in the dryer.
Oh, wow.
Right? And that's how I bonded Rodney. But again, it's the delivery. So instead of trying to put both the ball and this and juggle that, how about be entertaining? Be more inspirational instead of trying to change out all these crazy shit. Stick to the basics. Because remember, listen, when I competed, I trained with Arnold and Franco, all the best. We weren't doing cardio. We only did sprinting 3 weeks before, 3 times a week, and just sprints only. Relied on hard training and good nutrition to get shredded. And those bodies, you remember those bodies.
That's it.
We were rock hard like granite. I could hit Jay Cutler at his peak or Ronnie Coleman, and it's like it's soft blow-up doll.
Pillsbury out here.
But when you hit someone in old days, we're rock hard. There's a difference. So it's that swollen, inflamed muscle. We had defined hard muscle, like your physique. I remember those photos of you, perfect six-pack. Same thing. You were rock hard. You weren't relying on drugs. You were relying on hard training, good nutrition.
Completely. It's I think you touched on a really good point with the Rodney story, and that is personalization and customization is the key to fitness success. I've been preaching that for 30 years, and I think that I call it the U diet or the U program. And people are like, the U program, that's a special, unique, secret of Hollywood. No, it's called doing what works best for you. So if Rodney Dangerfield wants to train in the pool, you jump in the pool. Yeah. If this guy hates cardio, you're not going to make him do cardio. If this guy will never eat broccoli, I'm not going to put broccoli in the program. So it's about customization, and I think that is the pinnacle of results. When you can learn somebody's body, biochemistry, the blood work, and you understand their physiology and also their preferences, which people forget. Yeah. As a trainer, you know that if someone doesn't like something, you're not going to force them to do it on a regular basis. They're going to quit eventually because they're just, they don't like it. But if you do something they love, like we have so much fun when we train, you know what I mean? Like we enjoy it. We talk trash, we banter, that is exciting for them. When I train some of the guys in Hollywood, for example, on the set of movies, they look forward to that hour because they're like, I get to get away from the movie stuff and I get to go train, laugh, have fun. That is what the key is make it enjoyable, and the customization is a big part of that.
And I 100%, everything you just said is so important because you need to listen to your client. And if they don't want to do a certain exercise, there's so many other exercises that you can use that maybe because they don't want to do squats, maybe their back or feel uncomfortable. But what I also like is the fact that you listen to them and apply something that will be enjoyable, but also allow them to get to where they want to be without looking for shortcuts either. Because everybody's looking for those shortcuts. I need to get there, and that's not possible. Just work hard and get there. Just give me enough time. Just like the Titanic. The Titanic could have avoided the iceberg and not crash if they knew in time to be able to turn in time. And I tell people, if you want me to get you in great shape where you're not starving yourself doing anything so extreme, give me more time so I can navigate you through to get there without feeling like you're depriving yourself of foods, starving your system, and really it's not going to help you later on in life because it can cause problems with your thyroid if you start starving your body, fasting for long periods of time, which another topic I want to get on. I understand intermittent fasting can be used as a tool, granted. But I know people that have been doing it for 3 years. They don't eat 3 days a week for years, okay? They're now, and I've warned them, they have thyroid issues because they suppressed their thyroid, hypothyroidism. Now they're producing more reverse T3, which slows down the metabolism. So I tell these people that have been these fanatic, intermittent fasting people, you've done more havoc on your body than you could ever imagine. You're setting yourself up to be a fat person because you're now going to be on thyroid medication. So I want to share your thoughts about your opinion on the intermittent fasting done excessively.
Yeah, I think, first of all, going back to your other point, what's fast don't last. What's slow is for sure. So basically what that breaks down to is time is the most important thing when it comes to fitness. So that's number one. Number two, the intermittent fasting, I think, again, it's a tool you can use intermittently. It's in the word. Yeah. It's intermittent is in the word. Yeah. So use it intermittently. And what that entails is use it as needed. So, for example, I'll do a 3-day fast once a year. Once a year, I'll do a 3-day fast just to cleanse the body, increase autoimmune, increase the immune system and things like that. So that's a great tool. Okay, intermittent fasting 1 day a week, yeah, may work. I know guys who've been doing it for a year straight and same issues. They lose all their muscle. They have thyroid issues. They have all kinds of catabolic catastrophe. Cortisol is through the roof. And all these issues, because I test the blood. So I do blood work regularly in people. I had to deal with Quest Diagnostics, a national deal. I have my own blood work, actually, for fitness and athletes.
That's great.
And so I look at the blood. So I say, we don't guess, we test. Yeah. And I read it and weep, I say, the results don't lie. So I can see in someone who's been intermittent fasting continuously, excessively for even 3 to 4 months, their thyroid is down, T4, T3, even their testosterone is actually lower in many cases. So there's a lot of factors involved in intermittent fasting and doing it the right way. And again, using it sparingly, using it when you need to use it. And again, we don't believe in gimmicks or some kind of quick fixes because, like you said, if you do it fast, it won't last. It will not last because here's the thing. I always say this. Look, everything works once. right? I could put somebody on keto. I could put somebody on fasting. I could put somebody, all these kind of things. And they'll lose weight. They'll lose weight, but it'll be muscle weight, generally, or water weight. So it won't be the kind of weight we want to lose, which is fat weight. And that's what I always say when like this actress came into my office the other day and she's like, oh my God, I've got a huge movie coming up. I need to lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks. So you know what I told her? I go, which arm? You want me to cut off the left arm or cut off the right arm? That's the only way you can lose 5 pounds or 10 pounds in this time frame. You got to give me a little more time. And so when people understand that what's slow is gonna last, then they do it the right way. So I've had clients for 15 or 20 years now, literally. And so you see the progression and the results last. See, you see how a lot of these actors, and you work with so many actors, you get them in great shape, and guess what happens a month later? They don't even look like they work out. And that to me is very problematic. And the same thing applies to that as does in intermittent fasting, which is basically that if you have the yo-yo dieting effect, right, that yo-yo effect, you can actually cause more damage to your body than good over the long haul. And research has shown that actually. And there's actually a new gene that they've discovered that is a yo-yo dieting gene. That actually, some people are more predisposed to yo-yo dieting, and that actually causes more health, destruction for your health. So we got to be careful with that.
Yeah, it's so terrible that I find that a lot of people have resorted now, not just to the intermittent fasting, but taking these weight loss drugs, which...
Don't let me get started on that. Oh, my God.
I am so against, because I'm like you. I read all the medical journals, and it's for a fact. 60% of the weight loss is muscle. It cannibalizes your muscle tissue.
And we know that muscle is the most important thing for longevity, for metabolism, for fat loss, for brain health even, for total body health. We've actually identified that muscle is the most important factor. Individuals who have more muscle live longer, thrive better, and live better. So we need to have more muscle.
I mean, if you think about it, there's that nickname they have people for taking drugs is Ozempic face, gone. Women that breasts look...
Skeletor out here.
Breasts used to look full and now are flat like pancakes. They lose that butt, and it's coined Ozempic butt, Ozempic boob, Ozempic face. Well, what is that telling you? Also, if you know anything about it, is you lose your ability to taste food, and you lose your appetite. And that's not a good thing because you cannibalize your muscle. And besides, me being Italian, I love to eat.
Who doesn't? I mean,
tell
food
people,
is delicious.
I don't even want to fast. Because I know how you know how the body works. So your basic caloric intake for over 72 hours, right? If you reduce your calories a certain amount for 3 days, and by the end of the week, you can lose 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds. It's just a mathematical formula. So instead of me starving myself and not fueling my body, I'll just either do a little bit more cardio or take in less calories or carbohydrates and just restrict it that way than going through a day without eating food. I mean, I never liked fasting cardio. I always believed in fueling the body and 2 hours later, pumping iron. And I'd be careful any kind of high carb fuel foods at night. But before and after, high protein, fat, and carbohydrate, more green vegetables and protein. And that's how I trained. I won all these national titles, got shredded rock hard. There's no rocket scientist. There's no secret drug. Hard training and nutrition. 3 weeks before, we would do wind sprints, and our waist would look tapered. And we never, ever, ever, ever did cardio before weights. You know what happens, right? How the chemistry works. You should always separate it, or at least after the weights. I see these people doing a half-hour cardio before weights, and then they go through the workout, and they don't even have a pump.
I would split cardio and weight training for sure.
I usually do 6 to 9 hours.
I wouldn't even do it. I would completely separate. Definitely.
But I tell people, if you have no choice, but don't do before your weights. And I went to Equinox the other day, and I saw all these people doing the cardio. Then they go downstairs, and they wonder why they're not feeling, they're not making gains. They used up all their glycogen.
Yes.
The miscommunication, misrepresentation that's going on in a lot of these social media is driving me crazy. We need to clean it up. That's why I started my show. That's why I love what you're doing, because we got to get the word out. Stop watching this crap.
Oh, man. Do you know how many TikToks I get every day from some guy that's like, hey, have you seen this new technique? Have you tried this? I'm like, dude, if you get your fitness information from TikTok, you got some problems. I mean, listen.
But it's true. People
don't believe the hype.
TikTok.
No, literally, I get literally TikToks every day from people. Oh my God, have you tried this? I'm like, dude, that's ridiculous. Like, it doesn't make any sense at all.
I know when people send me videos and go, "What do you think it is?" No,
fail.
No way. Don't even try doing that.
Yeah, I don't call it Ozempic. I call it no Zempic. We want no Zempic.
This a friend of mine. I went to his house for the fights. You know, the Canelo fight, and his wife said, wants to talk to you. She's been following these 2 girls on Instagram, and she's been getting these peptides from them. They ship it from, I think, Florida or something, right? So she started ordering peptides. And I go, you understand, you could be injecting something in your body that has bacteria. So there are these companies that are peptides, because everybody goes, oh, peptides, this, right? But these are 2 girls. They're not doctors.
No.
They're not even fitness trainers. They're just girls with tight bodies, and they say, oh, we got this program. So they emailed her the workout. It looked like a basic standard book about basic nothing. It charged thousands of dollars.
Wow.
So I'm so concerned. You got to be careful. I understand you may see someone that you admire and you follow, but you got to remember, their intention is to make money.
Yes.
Not make a difference in your health, making money. And if you're going to order anything, a peptide or anything similar to, especially if it's injectable, you need to go to a doctor that specializes in longevity, rejuvenation, because you just can't go to any doctor because they don't know. They don't get extra courses in college about longevity, hormone replacement, the peptide, stem cell. You need to go to someone like you that's a specialist in what you do and what I do. But when you get following 2 young ladies on Instagram, and listen, they're 24 years old. I mean, they could probably look at a weight and look ripped, But when they get older like us and look great, well, then they really know what they're talking about, right?
No, absolutely right.
But don't take things for someone that's a YouTuber or Instagram person because you're going to set yourself up for ill health.
Yeah, I mean, look, we say we're living in the information age, but I say it's a misinformation age. And so there's so much noise online that I do understand I really feel for consumers, and that's what we've been advocating for consumers. We're consumer advocates because I want people to have results. And both of us, I think, are on the same page. You do some amazing work as well. To me, when I first started, it was never about money. I mean, no one ever said, hey, I want to be a nutritionist and make $1 million. It's never the field. My parents were like, don't you want to be a doctor or something? No. So I've always wanted to help people. That was my goal. My goal was just, improve sports performance, help people look and feel better, and then the rest is the rest. So I think you're right. What you said, intention is very important. When you got guys on Instagram now that suddenly get a 6-pack in 6 months, and now they're fitness experts because they have a 6-pack, well, what works for them may not work for you. Well, how can you relate to somebody who's 24 years old? It's a whole different world. And I believe people are individuals. And we have to have that individuality and say, look, you are not this person. Okay, what works for them is not going to maybe not work for you, right? They may be taking certain things. Maybe their genetics are completely 1%. How do you know, right?
Yeah.
People always look at people and say, look, but this is one that always just really is one of my biggest pet peeves. And I'll say it now publicly is, oh my God, my friend lost 60 pounds. He was doing this. It's like, great, but does that work? Like, I'm going to do it too. It's like, no, but you're a different individual. Your age, everything's different. What do you like? How would you relate to someone because, oh no, my friend was taking his detox pills and oh my God, he dropped 20 pounds. It's like, yeah, but you don't know his internal biochemistry. You don't know his sleep patterns, his training, there's so many factors involved. And I always say there's a lot of roads to success, right? A lot of roads to get fit. But there's some roads that are faster and better. And that's the one we want to get to, and that's the personalization part. And so when I hear people say, oh, my friend lost 30 pounds, I'm going to do that program. It's like, yeah, but you're a different person. I always tell people, learn about you. Learn your preferences, your body, what works for you. I always say, listen to your body. And as trainers, we say, listen to the client's body. Yeah. And we understand, okay, look, you know yourself better than anybody. You know you're not going to train first thing in the morning. You're just not that person, right? So you got to set up your schedule correctly. You're going to say, hey, you're going to eat this and this and this. I can do this. Like, this is something I can really, really realistically do consistently, because I believe in consistent persistence, which is being consistent over time. You're the epitome of that. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen you out of shape in the last 40 years. My God. It's crazy.
I would drive myself. I don't weigh myself. I look in the mirror.
Yeah.
The mirror is my guide. And because your weight can change because of water retention.
Oh man, I want to literally, the first thing I tell people, the first fitness advice I give people is take that weight scale and throw it out the window.
Yeah.
Because every woman I know, I'll say women mainly, but men do it too, is they weigh themselves first thing in the morning. And they go crazy when they gain 1 pound. I'm like, there's so many factors involved
especially
in
if
weight.
they go, I pigged out, I went to this event, I ate so much, and I gained 8 pounds. I go, it's impossible to put on 8 pounds of fat.
Exactly.
Okay,
and your body doesn't work that way.
Right?
It's an immaculate caloric conception.
But I have so many people that write to me because they make comments about don't do weight resistant ab exercises, and I reflect back to many pros said it to me. But I remember Sergeant Debray, who Mr. World, Mr. Universe,
best physique ever,
most magnificent body. When I was training with him, many years I've worked with him for whole summers, and he had the teeniest waist. I mean,
I remember.
And he pointed out to all the bodybuilders, he said, Mike, look at those bodybuilders. Look how wide their hips and their waists have become. Never do weighted sit-ups. You want to do crunches, and you do the hanging leg raise. You show me all these different movements, but make sure you're not engaging the hip flexor. It's got to be the lower abdominal, and understand that you're contracting that muscle. When you get connected with the mind and the muscle, you will have beautiful abs. And train your abs every day that you train with weights. And he said, because like Arnold did the same thing with me. He goes, I asked him about abs, and he said, well, if you were training your biceps every single day with weights, what would happen? I go, get smaller, right? Because I overtrain. He goes, correct. So if you were to train, not with weights, but just do your abs every day with your workout, what do you think's going to happen? It's going to shrink. It's going to get smaller. So Arnold also believed in no weights, and all the other champions.
I agree with that, yeah.
All that, never weight resistant, because Serge said to me, Mike, whether it's fat or muscle, it's a wider waistband. So if you do side bends, which I see people doing all the time in the gym, you're thickening the obliques. So now your pants are going to be tighter, your skirt or whatever you're wearing is being tighter. So I always had my six-pack, but I always do my abs with my workout. It's always a great warm-up.
Absolutely.
Protects my back through it's like having a natural
strength.
Lifting belt. And that's all I do. And I only do the 3 sets of crunches and 3 sets of very controlled hanging leg raises. That's all I do, twisting. And my abs have been, still to this day, perfect six-pack. And I keep my waist nice and narrow. And I tell these young people, don't mess up your body. Like Samir Banu, very dear friend. But he got too heavy into do you see how waist?
Yes,
he
it
used to have
happens.
this beautiful, right? He got into squatting really wide. He started doing weighted for abs. His waistband
grew. It's a muscle, right? Muscles grow.
And he had that beautiful tapered, slim hips and waist. And he actually worked against his symmetry and his proportion. So that's when I tell people, be very smart, but don't listen to people that said they've tried something, because your body is different. Your genetic makeup is different. And you need to have a trainer that is going to work with you and adjust it as you go. Because sometimes you might write a workout and say, you know what, I need to adjust this because, wait a minute, his pecs are getting too big. He's making his arms look small. I need to cut back, do more shaping exercises to make his bicep and tricep look bigger, or deltoid, right? Proper balance and
that's it.
Coordination, right? But if you notice a lot of people, they only see what's in front, then they have no rear delt, no trap, no rhomboids, no erector muscles, right?
Symmetry is the most important thing.
And listen, I love the glutes on these beautiful girls. But some of these girls' glutes are so overdeveloped, it's overpowering the hamstring, overpowering the quads, and their calves look like this.
They look like ants out here.
Right? And it just looks like an implant. because it's overdeveloped. So I even think some of the women have gotten so obsessed with glute,
Yep.
and they're doing 5-6 glute exercises, right? But the problem is, look at the rest of your legs.
Yes. Yes. Symmetry is so important. I mean, in physique and development, I mean, we know it looks weird if you have one body part that's overshadowing. We've seen bodybuilders like that. We've seen bodybuilders, Paul DeMeo was one, Quadzilla, where the quads were overshadowed his whole body. He had a great upper body. Incredible upper body, by the way.
But it was just
just too, compared to his lower body, it was, so symmetry is very important. And I think you said another really important point. And that is that even the customization within a person can change over time. So, like you said, a program that you had for example, one of your actor clients may have worked for that 3 months, but you may be reconnected with them 5 years later. They're older, they're different, their goals are different, and that program may not work at that time. So you got to adjust everything based on the current time, based on them at that time and their goals at that time. So I think also the individual persons can also change their customization over time as well. We always vary programs. I always change my programs up with my clients. I've had clients for 15 or 20 years, and we always vary the program. We always add in few extra things because your body is very adaptive and it loves homeostasis and it wants this. We want this, we want to go up. And so we have to shock the body. So we have to do certain things that are different. We have to add, take away, and do sprints here and there or other things added in. And I'm a big fan of sprints, by the way. I think sprints is the number one cardio. When I had I had a 10-pack at one point, and when I had a 10-pack, I literally was doing sprints. Like, that's the only cardio I would ever do, uphill sprints or regular sprints on the track. And I think it's one of the best forms of cardio ever because you see those sprinters, look how muscular they are. And when I was working with the Jamaican team at the Olympics in 2012, you saw their physiques. And these guys were just shredded. I mean, muscular. But they weren't even doing that much weight training. But that sprinting is a killer.
Well, I mean, if you look at sprinters and look at marathon runners, no development, totally atrophied bodies, right? But the sprinters, everything, their shoulders are down, the whole body's rock hard, right? And that's what was a mandatory thing from whether it was Sergio Oliva, Sergio Bray, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bill Pearl, Vince Duranda, or even when I went down to DeLand, Florida for Arthur Jones to train with Arthur and Casey Viator. Sprints.
That's it.
No long distance running.
No, that's
sprints.
No.
Right? And so that's been drilled in my brain, and that's when I was ready for shows, or even when I, say, guest post, want to get sharp really fast. 3 weeks before, I was doing sprints 3 times, and I did it later in the afternoon because I like doing it later when my metabolism is slowing down, so it spikes it before dinner. Or I would do my sprints before I eat dinner because my metabolism is all spiked up.
Fired up.
And I got to say, that was the best thing. I see people saying, I do cardio in the morning for an hour, cardio at night. I go, I can think of something else I'd like to do in those 2 hours.
I like 10 minutes. I got 10 minutes, I'm done. That's the best part about sprinting.
I mean, when I do cardio, people don't want to be next to me because I'm so into it. And I'm doing it so hard,
music blasting,
right? My music,
Metallica,
and then they look at me, And I have this little thing now. I go around on the Equinox on Sepulveda. It's on the second floor, and I know some of the people that do the cardio and they do it slow. I go home. You're walking on the treadmill like you're walking in a garden. So go home. You're not making any results. So now when I go up there, I'm like the mayor. I walk through, and as soon as they see me like this, then I go down the stairs and I look up, and they're like, and they're back on the phone. So listen, if you can have a conversation on the phone, go home. I tell people, just go home.
You can do that in your car.
You're wasting your time.
Yes, exactly. I mean, this is.
You know what's the funny thing? There are actually some NBA players that train at the Equinox in Sepulveda, and they take the elevator to one floor up. And then they were doing legs with heavy weights. And then he takes the elevator down one floor to the lobby. It's only 2 floors. So I have it down to size. So I park my car. I like parking it on the top deck at the club. And then I jog down the stairs. I jog to the front desk, show my phone. They says already pre-checked in. Go in, kind of power walk up the stairs. I do my workout. As soon as I'm done with my cardio, because usually I have to condense it, I have to do it at the end. Sometimes I do it later on night, but when I have to do it there, as soon as I get off the machine, I jog down the stairs jog all the way to the parking garage, and then I do these power lunges up 2 steps at a time, up to the 5th floor. I feel like
amazing,
you
right? Conquer the world,
right? And I do a very short amount of cardio. I only do 12 minutes. It's very broken
mine's
down.
10 minutes at
right?
max. Yeah.
And then I do this, and I feel like, wow. But then I see these NBA and NFL players. They're taking the elevator for 1 floor. What? I don't get it.
Yeah, the workout has the word work in it, so we got to work. You know what I mean? It's like
I look for a reason to walk further.
Look, I always say humans are built for movement. We weren't created by God as blobs, right? We have joints. We have everything's built to we have to move. This is what we're built for. Our body, our anatomy is movement, and that's when when people stop moving, that's when all hell breaks loose. The diseases, all that stuff comes around with lack of movement. Yeah. So I love the idea. I love what you're saying. I think, like I said, I tell people to park far away from the store, take that extra walk, or whatever it may be. Do some work, movement, and I think that most people think that weight training and this thing is like this big complex, brain. Now that we have all these people online talking about these hormones and all these techniques and peptides and all these things, it's like, it's basic, simple nutrition, exercise, sleep, recovery, and some supplements. That's really what it boils down to. The basics always last. And that's what we call it. Nutrition, exercise, sleep, and supplements. Yeah. I mean, you follow that if you have the base down, everything else is, I call it add-on. When you add on to your car, you get a base model car. Everything else that's all you really need to get from one place to the other. But you get the add-on, right? You get the little color, this, that, the rims. Okay, that's great. Those are great add-ons. It makes it look better. But the base is still there. So you need that base. The problem is people want to do this. They want the add-ons without the base. They want the add-ons. They want to be like, oh, what do I take? The first question I always get, it's so funny online. I post something, oh, what do I take to get leaner? It's like, you take nutrition, you take exercise, you take sleep, or you take supplements. They're like, that seems like a lot of work. I'm like, listen, if it was easy, everybody would look like Arnold. Everybody would look like Mike Torchia. If it was easy, it's not easy. Everything worth achieving requires work, requires effort, requires some kind of sacrifice, right? I mean, and it's all about your standards. Tony Robbins talks about this all the time. It's, what is your standard? Is your standard to be fat and lazy? Then you're going to be that. If your standard, you have a high standard for yourself, and you have to hold yourself accountable. So when I get up in the morning, I said, no, I got to have this standard. I have to look like this. I have to feel like this. And if I don't, then my day to me is shot. So I have to get that workout in. I have to get the food right. Because I hold myself to a higher standard, and nobody can hold you to a higher standard than yourself. So it's about setting high standards for yourself and your body.
It's so right. I remember reading in a book about Thomas Edison and Benjamin Franklin. They used time.
I remember them. I think I went to high school with them.
They used time blocking. Checklist is where you say you do your top 10 things you want to get done the next day and you check it off. Time blocking is you list all the things you want to get done. Usually it's about 6 to 10 things, but you put down the time that you need to achieve it. So I've been doing this for years. Everything that I do today is already scheduled.
Absolutely.
I do that Monday through Friday. Weekends, I don't give a shit. And I got to tell you something. I use this method to be able to be efficient and effective to make sure I achieve my goals, because I blocked out the time. So there's times when I'm supposed to have a Zoom call or something or a meeting. I tell people I have this standing appointment every day, Monday through Friday from 10 to 12. That appointment is my workout at the gym.
Absolutely.
Now, an executive would not understand, I can't do the Zoom call with your board because I'm working out. So they know Mike Torchia always has this standing thing because that's my time.
That's it.
This is for me.
Absolutely.
My priority is my health. Money, yes, it's great. My primary goal in life is to stay healthy and fit.
Health
and live
is a real
long
wealth.
life. Money is secondary, okay? And that's how I take it. So I block things. I block when I'm here with you. I make sure I get it done in this time. And because I want to be as efficient as possible.
Yes.
So Now I got contacted by Colonel Kruger and Colonel Wainwright to do something for the military.
Yes, yeah.
And they've asked me to be like a senior strategic advisor and celebrity ambassador to go to 7 bases and do this program I created called Fit Force Combat Conditioning Program. But the most essential part of it is I incorporated a mental wellness program.
That's so important.
The average 4 to 6 soldiers a month commit suicide.
Yeah.
So I incorporated a mental wellness program because these soldiers protect and serve our country. But unfortunately, they're having psychological issues that have to be addressed. So when I do this whole assessment for the different military bases, I'm going to be covering every aspect of the body, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.
Yes. Mind, body, soul.
Right? And then I got contacted by another colonel, how they want me to go to 4 battleships, because in the battleships, they have to run the tunnels.
That's all they have, yeah.
There's not much to do, right?
Yeah.
And I'm doing this as part of what I'm giving back now, because I've done a lot of work with first responders and law enforcement, fire department. I help a great deal with them with health and wellness. But this military thing is a mission to me, because my company was named Operation Fitness because my brother-in-law.
I remember that, of course.
My brother-in-law was a cadet at West Point. And I was sitting at Thanksgiving tables like 1985, and I told my mom, I need to create a name for my company. She goes, well, Mark, every document he has is Operation this, Operation that. She goes, call it Operation Fitness.
Wow.
So I trademarked it, I registered the domain and everything. So in 1985, I formed Operation Fitness, which was based on a program I wrote for West Point for conditioning grunts, the new crews.
Yeah.
So I took that, revamped it, and created the Fit Force Combat Conditioning Program, which now I plan to initiate in all the military, everything from Marines to Air Force to Special Forces to Army.
That's fantastic.
So if you want to get involved, you're welcome to come join my team, because we're all going to do what we do best.
Yes.
Each person is a captain.
That's it.
And they do what they do best. So it's not like I'm above you, you're below me. No, everybody is a team working together with the same results of getting these people healthy, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, right? And that's what the new shift is, besides what I'm doing with my show, is to help the first responders, help the fire department, the law enforcement, and the military. Because also the recruits now are in horrible condition.
Absolutely. I mean, they need help, and I think that goes to. I'm going to be doing work with Make America Healthy Again with RFK.
Great.
So yeah, we're doing a lot of stuff to kind of change obesity, like as you're doing, to change health and wellness. Because I think now what's happening is the obesity is getting out of control in this country. Whether it's soldiers, whether it's the firefighters, whether it's police, we gotta fortify our people. We got to fortify. And what that means is better health, better wellness, better choices, getting programs like you're doing. And I think that that's all important for the betterment of our society, actually.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm reaching out to people like yourself and say, look, let's do it together.
Yeah. Hey, listen.
Make a change, right?
You can go faster alone, but you can go further together. I always say.
I mean, the first base, Fort Cavazos in Texas, we're going to hit that in probably September, October. Yeah. There's 38,000 active soldiers.
Oh, yeah. I'm from Texas, so I know. Absolutely.
Right. So, and the base is 75 miles wide.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
I know.
And there's 32,000 family members. So the program is for the active soldiers and the families.
Wow, that's great.
Because I said we have to have the families.
Yes.
Because those kids could potentially be soldiers later on.
That's right.
And we'll create
teach them early.
These super athletes to be super soldiers. So that's how I said, that's how we start getting the recruits.
We want Captain America's coming up. We're creating super soldiers. We're fortifying.
Right? Hey, it's Mike Torchia. I got great news. My sponsor, Texas Slim Cuts, is providing a line of products for Live Well and Thrive. We're going to have high quality beef jerky sticks that are high protein, not full of any chemicals and dyes and additives that are toxic to the body. Also, we're going to be offering desiccated liver tablets, high protein, antioxidant. We're also going to have 100% beef protein powder in 3 different flavors. Delicious, mixes easily, and is so smooth to drink. And it can be put into your oatmeal and other beverages if you want to add some flavor. Also, final product that we're going to be launching is a organic butter infused with olive oil. Creamy, great tasting, and spread smoothly over your toast, or you can cook with it too. Nothing that's going to have any kind of toxic ingredients or questionable ingredients. So go to operationfitness.com. Within the next few months, you're going to start to see this whole line of products made by Texas Slim Cuts and the ranches up in Texas, and it'll be under the label of Live Well and Thrive products. Thanks for watching, and thanks again for Texas Slim for sponsoring this show, making it possible. And remember, you need to subscribe to YouTube channel. That keeps my show going. And share the episodes. Thank you. Listen, I remember when I was competing and I was really ripped and buff. I swear, I felt like I could walk through walls.
Oh, me too. I felt I overdosed on confidence. I was coming in like my traps were up to my earlobes, and people were like, "Whoa, what?"
I remember it was so funny when I was doing these. I would put on these shows at Studio 54 and Red Power and all these Xenons and Limelight, and I come down in a cage and I do a posing routine with a beautiful fitness girl.
Show me the videos.
So, I got to dig them up. And I remember girls would come up and go, "Oh my God, your body looks amazing." I go, "I look even better naked."
Allegedly.
Right? And they were like, and it was because I felt confident.
Yes.
I wasn't like cocky. I was confident. I said, well, I love being fit. I love feeling ripped and strong. And it was a radiating confidence that I was a fat kid, shy, introverted. And because I evolved, was that like the butterfly that comes from the little inchworm, right?
You were flying.
Right? So I see that in my clients, like you.
Yes.
What you did with Ben Affleck, what you did with Sly. You transformed them.
Totally.
But they also became that character, because when Ben got prepared for Superman, he felt like Superman. So I feel it helped contribute to his ability to play Superman, because he probably felt so jacked that he was.
Oh, when he was Batman, he was so big and muscular. He'd never been that physique before in his life, and he owned that character. And it's so crazy. We were on set in Detroit when they were filming with Zack Snyder when they were filming Justice League. He was in that suit, that 90-pound armored Batman suit, and he would do push-ups between takes.
Wow.
He would do 50 push-ups.
But I remember he was with the Superman. He was the Batman, but there was something about Ben. He had that confidence, like
I'm
going to kick Superman's ass.
Literally, he had that because, like you said, when the body is right, when you feel powerful, you could walk through walls. You feel that, and you have to believe in yourself. To believe in yourself, also, that confidence increases the belief in yourself that you can do anything. And I think you come from that. I come from that. Bodybuilding to me was the best thing that ever happened to my life. I mean, that discipline I learned. I competed for 8 years, went to nationals, all that stuff. And what I learned from bodybuilding was the discipline I needed to be successful in life. And that taught me everything. And it gave you, gave me, like you said, a skinny kid from Texas playing high school football in Texas, Friday Night Lights.
Sure.
I was that kid that was getting killed by NFL prospects every day. And I got better, but as I was in that world. And so when I picked up that first dumbbell, I remember that Joe Weider set I got. My dad got me this Joe Weider set with a plastic cover, with a cement inside.
The vinyl weights,
And the bar was like a rolling, it wasn't even a straight bar. It was like a plastic covered bar, and I would lift, and I would just I would get that 5 extra pounds, and I would think, wow. And I started becoming more confident, and that's where my life completely changed. And that's when I started really excelling in a lot of different things, even in football and everything else, is because I had the confidence from getting my body right, getting some muscles. That feeling, Mike, that feeling you had?
Yeah.
And you remember back in the day when you look in the mirror and you're like, what? I got I got some biceps. I got some this is crazy. It was like that scene in Spider-Man when he gets bit and he looks in the mirror, he's like, wait, I got muscle. And that changes your whole mindset. And body, mind, soul is all connected. So when the body's like that, you literally have the Kool-Aid man. You can run through walls, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's that's why it's important that we set an example for our future generations to rely on proper nutrition,
Yes.
sensible exercise, plenty of rest, and avoid negative people. Because it's toxic.
Oh my God, we could go on a rant for
that's
that.
the next interview.
That's another story, but it's really interesting. Just a quick note on that is there was actually a recent study published where they followed a bunch of families. I think it was a Harvard or one of the big school studies where they followed these families, and they followed all their kind of life achievements, right? Looking at the father, the mother, the kids, after college, their job, their spouses, and they narrowed everything down into one thing that was the most critical factor for life success. And they followed them for, I think, over 30 years. They showed that it was the people they were around. Their circle determined everything. If they had a negative circle, they went downhill.
Yeah.
Divorce, everything negative happened. But if they were in a positive, successful circle of people, they elevated. They had successful relationships, better business, made more money. Everything was better. So what you just said is so critical. Even in fitness, you have to be around people that want your success, that allow you to create success. Because if you are around 5 millionaires, you'll be the sixth. If you're around 5 overweight people, you'll be the sixth. Because it's about their standards. You're going to follow their standards.
Well, you know, I remember when I first started playing tennis later on in life, not when I was younger. The pro explained something to me. He goes, Michael, you're getting very good. Do not play tennis with your girlfriend because you need a strong player to strive towards, to challenge you, to push you. If you go hit the ball over the net, you don't want to hit the serve too hard because then she can't hit the ball. You're going to lower your game. So being around a strong player made me become a stronger player.
Facts.
And it's the same thing when I was a young bodybuilder. I trained with all these pros.
Same, yeah.
Mr. Universe, Mr. World, Mr. Olympia. And I was just a teenager, 15, training at Gold's Gym. I was so inspired, and empowered me. But Arnold always said, he goes, just like toxic food, toxic people. Stay away from toxic people. They don't believe in you. And you eliminate the value of life, right? But it's true.
It's
if anybody
absolutely true.
doubted me, I cut them out of my life.
That's it.
It's just like drinking soda or drinking alcohol or breathing toxic
consumption.
air.
You
right?
consume content,
Right.
conversation. You consume aura. You consume people. Every cell of your body is emitting energy right now. If you're around the negative type of energy being emitted, you are going to absorb that.
Well, you know, it's so funny. I read a medical journal this other week, and it says that if you're in proximity of a person, it could be anywhere from like 8 to 10 feet, who's anxious,
Yes.
they're transferring the energy, and you'll start to get anxious. If you spend, a
Facts.
period of time, like an hour or so, you'll start feeling anxious. The energy gets transmitted.
That's
So
facts.
so funny is like whenever I'm like I do hanging leg raises in the gym. I love doing them.
Me too. My favorite
And then
exercise. God, I
as
love
soon
that
as I
exercise.
see like some overweight person like on their phone walking by, I look up to the ceiling, and I just don't want to look at them because I don't want to have their energy in me.
That's
I'm very visual now, right?
It's smart. Yeah, smart.
And I'm really focusing on transference of energy.
You got to guard your energy with your life because your life actually depends on it. It's that important because I've seen people go down the wrong path by meeting the wrong person or the wrong spouse or the wrong significant other. It literally takes someone who's powerful, who's confident, and it literally takes them completely out of the mix and completely destroys their life. So it's very important that you guard who you're around. And it's very important that you're around positive, optimistic people because then you get confidence, right? And I always say this, Michael Jordan had a great quote that said, I never lost a game, I just ran out of time. And I started believing that because you're around people who believe that. People who are winners. If you're around winners, you're going to be a winner. If you're around losers, you're going to be a loser. It's just the fact of life. So I encourage everyone out there listening, whoever is, look at your closest 5 circle of people and make sure they want you to win. They're optimistic. They're successful. They're what you want to be. And then you'll get there. Otherwise, you're going to go down the other way. And we know what happens. We've seen that story before many times.
And you can't help it because it's just the natural progression.
Transference.
Yeah, the energy.
It's just osmosis. You're going downhill, baby. It's all over but the crying. That's it.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big part of it. And what you mentioned is another important thing that you mentioned was about the athletes. There's a great book called The Talent Code, and they have a practice in there. It's called deep practice. And what they found is the top elite athletes who were the most successful in their sport practiced in a way, or trained in our world, trained in a way that was with focus, with intensity, with purpose, with goals in mind. And when you train that way, you get much better results. And so I think that's another thing we can also all implement is train with focus, with purpose, with intensity.
Yeah, you're spot on. Like my last few tips was I told people when you eat with a purpose. When you exercise with a purpose. Don't say, Monday I'm going to start working out. Well, you have to have a
Monday
purpose.
never comes.
No, so
say.
you have to have a purpose. So what is my purpose? Do I want to build more muscle? Want to burn some fat? Do I want to prepare for a marathon or whatever? But eat for a purpose, train with a purpose, and you'll get the results. You can't just say, well, I'm going to start eating better on Monday or I'm going to start working out. Well, no, that's just that's too general.
No, and like when you get in your car, do you just say, I'm just going to drive? No, you have a destination, you Google map it, you have a plan, you have a specific guide that gets you there turn by turn, as we say, and you get to your destination. Same thing with fitness. People get up and say, oh, I just want to drop some pounds. But that's not a real goal. I think goal setting is so important because it gives you a destination. It gives you motivation, inspiration that you can get somewhere in life and anything else. You always have to have goals, but more importantly in fitness because you need to be very specific in your goal. So when I tell my clients, hey, what's your goal? And they say, I want to look better. I go, that's not a goal. That's not a goal. A goal is, hey, I want to drop 12 pounds of fat, gain 10 pounds of lean muscle. My strength has to go here, and I want to do this in 12 weeks. Now that is a goal, and that's measurable, that's tangible, and then achievement. You have achievement because people don't realize that progress creates happiness. When we're achieving, when we're improving, even if it's 1% a day, that creates happiness for us. And that makes us feel good. So I always say, look, get a goal and track that goal. And when you achieve it and you check that box, like you have your list of things to do, when you have the to-do list checked, you feel good, right?
Yeah.
I got that workout in. I got that great meeting done. It's over. It's boom. And achievement creates that momentum, that snowball effect that we want. And then people become really kind of, I would say, addicted to it. And I don't think that addiction's bad. Like I've never had a drink in my life. I've never taken any drugs purposely. I accidentally took mushrooms one time, but that's a story for another time. Craziest night of my life. I'm going to make a short film about it actually now. But my addiction's always been training. It's always been fitness. I've been literally obsessed with it. And people might think, oh, that's crazy. Your obsession is crazy. I said, even when I was training, I used to take a Tupperware. I'll never forget. I was getting ready for the Mr. Texas Bodybuilding Championships, which I happened to win that year. I was at a wedding 2 weeks out. I bring a Tupperware. They're eating all the most delicious steaks and everything. And I got my little orange Ruffy and my little broccoli and sweet potato in a little Tupperware. And people are like, did you bring fish to a wedding? I was like, listen, I'm not going to sacrifice my goals. I'm not going to do it. I'm obsessed with this. And I'm obsessed with winning and achieving my best body. And so this is the kind of mentality you have to have in everything, not just fitness, is you have to have a foot on their neck, that pedal to the metal, that energy of, hey, I got to do this. It's do or die. And I think that's when people win. You can't casually do it. And what I've seen in 30 years, people who casually do it, they generally don't achieve their goals the way they want. But when you put the pedal to the metal, when you have accountability, when you have a great trainer, when you have people around you pushing you and holding you accountable for that, then you achieve greatness.
Yeah, I 100%, because when I would train for a competition, I would take 1 year.
I love that.
I hear guys in the gym, girls in the gym saying, yeah, I got a show. It's in about 8 weeks. I'll be ready in 6. I go, your body's not going to be seasoned.
Exactly.
You're not going to have that paper thin skin. You're not going to have that definement. It takes a long period of time. So every year I would plan to compete in either about 4 or 5 shows within a month period of time. And I trained that whole year.
Smart.
And what was great is I'd win every show.
That's it. Because you gave yourself time
to prepare and make sure the skin can come down and get tighter and the body fat would come down without resorting to extreme dieting, which would compromise my muscle mass, right? So I planned it. But when I hear people in the gym saying, "Oh, I can jump in this show," I go, "No,
yeah. I can jump in the sauna and drop some water weight and get on stage."
No, it's great. Well, listen, we can go on forever.
Absolutely.
I want to thank you. I mean, this has been something I've been wanting to do for a very long time, and if you need to come back, because we can talk about other incredible things we could share with each other,
Yeah, well, I love speaking to you, Mike. I think
Thank you.
Well, you're one of the people that I really respect in the industry, someone who's done it again on a consistent basis over a long period of time, so I appreciate you having me on.
I appreciate it too, brother. Thank you. I want you to share this episode. What we covered today is going to change your life and your friends' lives. So remember, share the episode, subscribe. We need your support. And I want to shout out to Texas Slim Cuts for supporting this show and making it possible. Thanks for watching.